Hi, I'm Justin Boyd.
I'm George Luna.
I'm Brittany Pacheco.
And I'm Frank Cooper, and we are Watchers in the Basement, live.
We are definitely live. We're running a little late. Lots of stuff happening, but welcome to the Watchers in the Basement. I want to start off by thanking everybody who's watching us live on YouTube right now, thanks to StreamYard. And I want to thank everyone who ends up listening to this later on podcast services like Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And by the way, if you listen to us on Spotify, you can now rate our podcast on Spotify. So just go to the podcast page. There's a rating. Give us the 5 stars, and we appreciate that very much. So once again, we're back. We've been doing a couple of shows recently, and today we're back to talk about, once again, Spider-Man No Way Home. Now that we've all seen it, we're going to talk about it. Brittany, you were the last one to see it. So let's start off by, what are your thoughts on the movie? And I heard you had some questions for us about the movie. So let's get into it. Go for it.
Yeah, so first of all, I'm just happy that we're all back together again. Like I did it before this actually started. I'm like, reunited, and it feels so good. Yeah, I'm like legitimately happy to see y'all. So yes, I was like the last person here to see Spider-Man No Way Home. You know, the problem with these big movies is like there's so much hype about it, and then you always wonder, like, is it going to live up to the hype? It lived up to the hype. Let's just be real. I think the comparison, I can't remember who here said it, but the comparison was, it's basically like Spider-Man's Infinity War and Endgame. Like, that's just how great it was. And I do agree with that. It hit all the high points of like comedic timing, seriousness, getting you feeling some type of way. I mean, it had it all. I thought it was great. I thought it was great how they incorporated other Spider-Mans into the movie. But yeah, I definitely had questions in the sense of, you know, what was going on with the ending, basically. Initially, it had to do with the suit. Did you guys have questions like how, you know, why did he have a new suit? Why couldn't he use the suit from the one that he got from Tony? And I do have the answer to that. I just want to see if y'all actually know that answer.
Yeah, we talked about that last time. That was an open-ended question. We didn't have the answer.
And since then, have y'all done any research?
I didn't. I didn't even think to look it up or anything.
I feel like the answer was they wanted to show us a more like stripped down Spider-Man, like from the comics, where, you know, he made his own suit, and that was kind of the nod. I mean, you know, obviously with the wish at the end where he, you know, no one remembers Peter Parker. Well, then, you know, I guess he obviously wouldn't know the Avengers. He doesn't know Happy Hogan anymore. He doesn't have, I don't know. You're right. I don't understand how he doesn't have a suit, but Frank, do you have any idea before she gives us the answer?
Well, I mean, I would assume with the wish that he told Doctor Strange that nobody remembers that he's Spider-Man anymore, that every memory that Stark Industries, Happy, anything involving Stark and Happy and Stark Industries is all, it never really happened. So I was
did it though?
No, it happened. That's what's weird.
Happened.
Everything happened, but no one remembers Peter Parker. It's
if it happened, I feel like all of the equipment that he had all belonged to Stark, all belonged to Stark Industries. So I don't think
so. So Frank, he's definitely on the right track. It's not that it never happened. It's that at the point when Peter makes that wish, it comes true. Everyone forgets Peter Parker, Spider-Man. The suit does as well, because the suit is linked to Peter Parker being Spider-Man. And
that makes sense.
Yeah. So, because think about it with like Edith, the glasses, Edith could only work for Peter Parker unless he relinquished, you know, the rights to someone else. So same kind of process, same kind of technology in this situation. So my question also too is the fact that Doctor Strange, of course, made this wish. Does he too forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, or does he somehow, is he immune to this whole thing? You know what I'm saying?
He forgot him. He said he was going to forget him. He literally said that.
Okay. All right. I wasn't 100% sure about that because you just don't know. Also,
unless he changed the wish, unless he might have amended the wish where only he knows. We don't know that. I don't think that's the case, but who knows?
Well, I only bring that up because obviously with the release of Spider-Man No Way Home, on the heels of that, we got the trailer for the second Doctor Strange movie, which deals obviously with the multiverse, and the fact that that was pretty much the end credit scene, if you will. It wasn't even a scene; it was a trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And he's asking Wanda about the multiverse. So that again makes me wonder, how much of this information does he retain, having been involved in Peter's wish of, everyone forgetting who he is. Like, and that's, if you got, I guess, okay, never mind, I answered my own question. He forgot about Peter, but he still knows that the multiverse, it exists. He just doesn't know why he knows it, maybe. I don't know.
And to make this more confusing, the Multiverse of Madness was supposed to come out before Spider-Man originally. So that's why they've had so many reshoots on Doctor Strange. They.
That's right. I did read about that.
Because of the pandemic, Doctor Strange was pushed back. Spider-Man kind of kept its date, and obviously it's made $1.3 billion in 3 weeks. So you can't argue with the success of that or that decision. But
yeah, I agree.
That's caused a big problem with Doctor Strange. They've had to change a lot of stuff because of that.
And like what our friend Drew in the North, shout out to Drew, he puts here, he says, well explained. Is it Kevin Feige approved? That is the question. Is it Kevin Feige approved?
Everything is. Seriously.
But yeah, so the other thing I think I had a question about when Doctor Strange basically was saying to Peter about the importance of everyone that came into this universe, the importance of their death in their own universe, like that's more significant than them living. Well, obviously Peter number 3, if you will, changed the course of that. So when they go back to their own universes, like, does it completely alter those universes? The fact that they didn't die, they were cured, if you will. The fact that Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was stabbed by Green Goblin, like, does that have an impact on his reality back in his universe? You know what I'm saying? Like, it just, I don't know. It's just weird to me. Are we going to see it?
Probably not, unless they decide to make movies with these characters again. They left the door open so they can do that. Maybe we'll see the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man 3 movie, and he can complete his movies. That'd be cool.
Did I say Spider-Man number 3? Never mind. I meant to say number 2. Go ahead.
Tobey was number 2.
I'm going by chronological order of when these movies were released. But what I meant was the reference in the movie of Tom Holland being number 1, Tobey number 2, and then Garfield number 3. Go ahead, Frank. Sorry.
No, I think the villain's demise or fate that's changed course. I feel like Kevin Feige or the creators of this movie kind of left that to our interpretation, kind of like the show Sopranos when it goes to black. I feel like the fate of these villains are left to our interpretation. I don't think there's going to be any more Spider-Man movies from those universes. Now maybe in the Sony/Venom Morbius universe, you might see an incarnation of a Spider-Man. But as far as like the villains, their storyline, I think is left to our interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let me just real quick. So on the future of all this, and I was going to talk about this later. Let's just go ahead and talk about it now. I agree with Frank. I don't think we're going to see those villains necessarily again, but from all I've read and all I've heard, this is like legit people, like the writers. They have lots of ideas for both Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. They had lots of ideas that did not make it in this movie that they wanted to put in this movie that they believe could be transferred to other movies. There's all kinds of stuff going on now. Sam Raimi, who of course directed the 3 Tobey Maguire movies, he's also directing Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. He's been quoted as recently as 2019 saying that he thinks about Spider-Man 4 all the time. He wanted to do a 4th Spider-Man after Spider-Man 3 wasn't up to par. So that's now back on the table. Andrew Garfield is definitely on the table. I mean, he's probably the breakout star of this movie. You know what I mean? I think like Andrew Garfield and Willem Dafoe, like I had no idea how much these people were going to be in the movie. I thought they were just going to kind of be in the movie a little bit. It was going to be awesome. They took the movie. I mean, Tom Holland was great, but they really came in and stole the movie. So now with Andrew Garfield, it sounds like he's going to be the Spider-Man in the Venom universe because Venom is his own franchise, right? The Venom movies do well enough to where he doesn't have to be in a Spider-Man movie per se. But if you need a Spider-Man movie, or if you need a Spider-Man in his movie, Andrew Garfield could be the perfect one because, as he said in the movie, he never faced an alien. Tom Holland talked about fighting Thanos in space. Tobey Maguire references the guy from that '70s show who played Venom in Spider-Man 3.
Oh, Topher Grace.
Topher Grace. But Andrew Garfield never faced a Venom. So I believe that Andrew Garfield is going to be the Spider-Man in the Venom universe. And here's the main reason why. Last thing, I'll let you talk. The main reason why, because if Andrew Garfield is Spider-Man in the Venom universe, Sony gets to keep all the money. They don't share that.
Bingo.
This is very real. They don't share that with the MCU. So, I mean, yes, now Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are kind of a part of the MCU, but if they make another Venom movie with Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, that cash goes all in Sony's pockets. And trust me, that's going to happen. I really believe it's going to happen. The only way it doesn't happen is Andrew Garfield doesn't want it to happen. And from all reports and all, like, he loved being Spider-Man more than anybody. Yeah. So that's going to happen. Someone else talk. I'm sorry.
And then also that's big for the UK market because Tom Hardy and Garfield both from the UK. So that explodes that market even bigger if they keep those two together in a Sony packed film, and then you can reintroduce the Sinister Six because I think if I remember correctly, Amazing Spider-Man 2 ended with clues of a Sinister Six movie coming out too.
Right.
So that would be a great introduction to Venom because Venom is a part of the original Sinister Six. So there's so many ways to go with that character.
So I'm glad we're talking about the significance of Andrew Garfield along with Tom Hardy's, Venom, because that was the other question I had. And Justin, I think you explained it as I was wanting to, question about it. I think you explained it, answered my question. The fact that at the mid-credit scene was, damn it, what's his name? I've only seen Venom like once. Eddie Brock?
Eddie Brock.
Oh, yes, I remember his name. Okay, so Eddie is talking to someone in Mexico about.
Wait, hold on. He's not talking to someone. He's talking to Danny Rojas. If you're fans of Ted Lasso,
Ted.
That's Danny. Let's talk about Danny Rojas.
Yeah,
football is life. Everyone knows football is life. Danny Rojas from Ted Lasso. By the way, Ted Lasso season 2, in a word, weird. It's a weird season. Anyway, continue.
It is.
I'm fired up today. I'm fired up.
I can tell. I can't even talk with you being fired up. Jesus.
There's one more TV person, and I'll knock this out. So, in the interrogation scene, Stewie from Succession is in the movie. He plays the agent for the damage control or whatever. I mean, you got Succession, you got Ted Lasso. Spider-Man: No Way Home just has everything. Yeah. So, continue, Brittany. I'm sorry.
Well, because I was wondering how is it that, like, what universe was Venom in? Is it the universe that we know with Tom Holland Spider-Man, or is it the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man? Because the fact that if the premise is Venom is coincide with the storyline of what's going on with Tom Holland Spider-Man, therefore he should know about the Avengers, Thanos, but then he's questioning about, this purple alien who like snapped, half the universe out of existence. And I'm like, well, how would you not know about that? And, either you yourself were in the blip or you are in a completely different universe. So that was like my question, like what universe is Eddie Brock in at this point? Because I didn't know how they would bring him over into the MCU, Disney MCU, if you will.
I think Frank can answer that for you.
Yeah. So he's not in Tom Holland's universe.
Okay.
The reason why the symbiote knows about the other Spider-Mans is that symbiote, all the symbiotes are connected.
Right.
They're connected throughout the multiverses.
Right.
So that's how he knows all the other Spider-Mans. Now, the symbiote has not showed up in Tom Holland's so it showed a clue of a little piece of Venom symbiote being left behind. But my prediction is that he's in the Andrew Garfield universe. That's my prediction.
So because the fact that we do see Eddie Brock like disappear, you know, and at what point is he disappearing? Is it when the multiverse was being opened initially or being closed? You know what I'm saying? Like at what point?
When the other ones are being, when everyone else
when the other ones are being,
all leave in like that kind of yellow orange kind of glow or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But something else, and Frank, I think you actually saw the movie. I haven't seen the movie, but the Venom sequel, Let There Be Carnage. There's a mid-credit or a post-credit scene, Brittany, that explains the Tom Holland, Tom Hardy connection. In that one, Tom Hardy's Venom sees a picture of Tom Holland, or he sees the end of Far From Home, or No Way Home, Far From Home, sorry, where Peter Parker's revealed to be Spider-Man, and he says he's going to go to New York to check it out.
Right.
Exactly.
I only watched it. I haven't seen the movie, but I watched that on YouTube. So
yeah. So this is where it gets kind of confusing because like we don't know in which juncture Venom came to the Tom Holland universe, because at the last credit scene, the post credit scene of Far From Home, he disappears once Doctor Strange puts everything back into place. We don't know when he shows up in Tom Holland's universe, which kind of makes sense because like with Spider-Man coming out before Multiverse of Madness, maybe Doctor Strange probably did something to where he joined, he came into Tom Holland universe, but he originally he was not there to begin with. So it makes me believe that he's probably part of Garfield's universe.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. There was something else that Justin, you were talking about in your fired up, you know, speech. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was another question I had that literally can't remember at this very moment. So, well, it's,
you got it. Okay.
It's not the question, but it's just like another question. Where the hell was Wong during this entire ordeal? If he's Sorcerer Supreme, where was he? Chilling.
Maybe what time did this take place? Was he in Shang-Chi fighting the Abomination or something? Like, we don't know.
That's what I'm saying. I need to know the timeline, you know, of all these events. Like, are they happening simultaneously, or are they like one right after the other, right after the other? I don't know. But Drew, earlier he asked if we noticed that there is a Stan Lee cameo in all Spider-Man movie universe. I haven't seen all the Spider-Man movies. That's including Garfield's. I think I may have seen like part of the first one, but was he even in this one?
Well, I mean, he wasn't alive, but was he shown somehow or some kind of reference? I mean, there's a part where they show graffiti and it says Ditko, and Steve Ditko is the co-creator of Spider-Man. So I did notice that, but I'm sure there was some kind of nod to Stan Lee in this movie, but I don't remember it. So and maybe Drew can tell us if he can remember. But the other movies, Stan Lee was. I mean, I don't know that he was in Far From Home because he may have passed before that.
I think that's
so.
the way too. Yeah.
But I know that he was in, you know, all the other ones. And I mean, I think my favorite one of his appearances is in the Amazing Spider-Man 1, when Spider-Man is fighting the lizard, and he's got his headphones on. He's like the custodial guy working, and he has no idea that they're like behind him. It's a great scene.
I vaguely remember seeing that. So Drew says that no Stan Lee was not in No Way Home.
Yeah, I just figured they'd have some kind of like nod to him.
Also not in Far From Home either.
Okay.
So I did see the Ditko. I'm gonna butcher that. Ditko.
Yeah.
That one. I did see that numerous times, I feel like, with the graffiti, like you're saying. So still can't remember the other question that I had. That anyway.
Well,
but I will say,
think about it. I got some questions for everybody.
Okay.
Well, you know, start out with so we've all seen it. I've seen it twice. Frank, how many times have you seen the movie?
Twice.
Twice. George, you've seen it once. You've seen it once. Okay, so I saw it in Houston once the first time, then I saw it in Abilene, which is where I'm kind of from. So I want to ask you all about the crowd reactions to the surprises. When I saw the movie in Houston, whenever they showed Charlie Cox's Daredevil, Matt Murdock, people lost it. Whenever Garfield and Maguire showed up, people lost it here in Houston. When I was back home in Abilene, people didn't react to any of that stuff, and I was like stunned. Start off with Brittany. We'll go around the room. What were y'all's like crowd reactions to those big surprises?
Definitely nothing with Daredevil. I only know about Daredevil, and it's not even the show Daredevil. I think that's where the actor's from. It's obviously because I've seen the Ben Affleck adaptation, which was awful.
By the way, Jon Favreau is in that movie, and he's in the scene with Matt Murdock. How crazy is that?
It's been years.
He plays Foggy in that Daredevil from 2004 or 5, whatever it was, and then he's in that scene with Matt Murdock. That's why the MCU is the best. They just like they tie up stuff and they make stuff better than it ever could have ever been. It's incredible. But continue.
No, so like I said, I only know of him because I think it's the iconic, kind of red glasses, whenever he's blind. I know he's a lawyer. He's got wicked, reflexes, of course, because he's blind. So little to no reaction whatsoever with his appearance on the screen, albeit very brief. I was just kind of like, oh no shit, like they're gonna incorporate him in future installments, I'm assuming. So yeah, there was another, I can't remember. There was someone else that I saw in the movie that I myself was just kind of like, oh crap, that was cool. But like, again, very little to no reaction. I can't remember it right now. I need to go see the movie again. Honestly, like it's really good. I mean, it was long, but it had good pace. It paced out very, very well.
It moves. George, so what was your crowd reaction like for surprise moments or just, big things that happened in the movie?
I think it was like you in Abilene because I was in Oklahoma watching the movie there. Like when Daredevil came up, like no one really cared. I think pretty much when Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield showed up, that's when people were like, oh, yeah. Like you just heard little things in the crowd. But not even for the villains or everything. Even when I saw the villains, I was like, damn, that's tight. No one really had a reaction to it.
Yeah.
That sucks. Frank, what about you? How was the reaction?
Oh, man, I saw that Sunday. That Thursday came out, and when Daredevil showed up, like 4 people behind me said, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. What Kingpin at? Like, people just got real crazy when Charlie Cox showed up. The fact that they knew his name, his actual name, I was like, these motherfuckers are like really invested. I think George put me on Daredevil like back in the day. So like I was one of the oh shit cats that when I saw Charlie Cox. And then the part where when Peter Garfield people went crazy as well. People didn't go as crazy for the villains. I was shocked by that, but the 3 Spider-Mans and Daredevil, they definitely went. And then when Venom showed up into the post-credit scene, people went crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, no one waited for the post-screen. Like everyone left.
Oh no, yeah. My Houston experience, everyone was waiting because everyone was like locked into the MCU kind of stuff. So
when I saw it, this is why I don't actually like going to the movies anymore, especially when it's like opening weekend or like, of course this was winter break, so everyone was there. People talk throughout the movies, right? And they're having like their own sidebar conversations or like checking their phones. It's like, it bothers the crap out of me. So like a row or 2 ahead of me were like a group of people, like these girls, and they were just like loud talking. And I literally just wanted to tell them to shut the F up. Thankfully, when the movie ended, when the credits started rolling, they walked out. And I'm like, good, be gone. Cause I don't want to come to the movies and hear your commentary. I want to come to the movies and watch the movie. Right. So yeah, people left even before the mid-credit scene, obviously before the end credit scene. they were very like adamant about, oh, she dead, you know, when Aunt May died, right? No more hot Aunt May, you know. I'm sure you guys are like so sad about that. But they were just like adamant, no, she's dead. And I'm like, shut the up, you know, like we get it. That was my reaction, you know. Or
speaking of that, you know, her death and just other like moments that were kind of emotional in the movie. How did anything hit you emotionally, Brittany? And then we can go around the room with everybody else.
So her death didn't hit me whatsoever. I pretty much, you could kind of tell that was just going to happen. Like, I don't know if it was like foreshadowed ahead of time. Probably with Willem Dafoe's, you know, being Willem Dafoe. By the way, fabulous performance from Willem. Like always fabulous. I mean, he can just turn it on and off, and it's crazy. But with Aunt May, no, didn't really have a reaction. Didn't really care. It wasn't until when the wish or the spell or whatever was about to be finalized, and MJ and Peter are like having their last moments, and she's like, I love you. And he's like, he wants to say it too. She's like, no, you know, you tell me when, you know, you find me again or fix all this or whatever. That hit me in the feels, because I was like, you know, the sacrifice that is being done, albeit it was kind of his fault to begin with. That hit me hard, just because that's hard to say goodbye to your loved ones, obviously, no matter the circumstances. So that for sure really, really hit me hard. What about y'all?
Do y'all find this out real quick? In the Tom Holland universe, we don't know if Aunt May was ever married. We don't know Aunt May, if there was ever Uncle Ben in Aunt May's universe. We don't know how Aunt May even acquired Peter Parker. Like, was he? Like, I mean, in the Garfield universe, you know, Peter Parker's parents were spies, and they just disappeared.
That's what I like about that. I just finished those movies. I love that they explained all that.
Yeah.
And that's not in the comic books. Like his parents were actually spies.
Yeah, that was
and
cool.
Like, and they were never found. I mean, we don't know if they died or they're just missing in action or what. But we don't know anything about Marissa Tomei's Aunt May's character, like of how she took in Peter Parker, and she was ever married to a Ben in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's something that is pretty strange. The fact there's no reference to Uncle Ben, even when the other two Spider-Men are talking about when in the movie when they're all together, they talk about Uncle Ben's death, and you notice how Tom Holland has nothing to say. Yeah. And they basically make Aunt May in this universe she's Aunt May and Uncle Ben, because she says with great power comes great responsibility, and she dies. I wonder though, there's supposedly like an animated Spider-Man. I think it's Spider-Man freshman year or something. It's going to be on Disney Plus. It's supposed to be Tom Holland Spider-Man. I'm not sure if he's going to be the voice of it, but maybe they'll explain Uncle Ben, or if there is an Uncle Ben in that
who knows
that series. I'm not sure, but something else I wanted to point out about this universe is there's no Oscorp. You know, there's like, you know, Willem Dafoe even says, he's like, you know, someone's living in my house. Oscorp doesn't exist, and my son, you know, like, so it's like, you know, this Peter Parker, he fought the same Green Goblin as Tobey Maguire. So that's kind of weird that he doesn't have, because Green Goblin is, I mean, Spider-Man has a bunch of, you know, rogues gallery of villains, but Green Goblin is the number one villain. It's like, it's almost like if Batman didn't have Joker, you know, it's kind of like you kind of need that villain. So it's interesting that this Spider-Man won't have his own Green Goblin, except for the one he faced in this multiverse.
While on that, real quick, I just have to say the fighting sequence between Tom Holland's Peter and Green Goblin at the end, fantastic. Like the amount of physical training, I'm sure that went involved, because I know like Tom Holland does a lot of his own stunts. I mean, he has trained, I think, in gymnastics, and you know, he does a lot of these really cool flips, things, and what have you. But some of those stunts were just incredible to me. And again, Willem Dafoe, like our friend Drew, of course, says that Defoe is from Wisconsin, 30 miles south of Green Bay, where our friend is from. So that's pretty cool, you know. But his acting chops is just, you know, unparalleled, obviously. And I read somewhere some interesting facts that when he was Norman,
Yep.
I can't even remember his name.
Yeah, Norman Osborn. Yep.
When he was Norman, all right, it's actually Willem Dafoe. His teeth, you know, or not his teeth. He's got like, you know, dentures that are put in. And then when he's Green Goblin, you notice the difference because his teeth look completely different. It's like his whole persona, his actual physical appearance has changed. I thought that was really cool. I didn't notice that, but after I read it, I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. That way you can tell the difference between the personalities, of course. But Justin, while you were talking, I finally remembered my other question that I wanted to pose to you guys. When our good friend Ned, that's his name, Ned, you know, he's magic, right? You know, he's got the sling ring and he's doing his, you know, portal, you know, whatever, and he's trying to find Peter. In comes Andrew Garfield. You know, of course, the explanation of, you know, are you really Peter Parker, Spider-Man? Like, can you go get that cobweb for me? Brilliant, really funny. But when Tobey Maguire steps in and he makes the comment about how, like, he knew there was something off because it was just him by himself, or was it Andrew Garfield that said that? I can't remember which one actually said it, but they knew something was off. And I'm like, how the hell would you know? You know what I mean? Like, how would you know that your villain is not there anymore? You know what I'm saying?
Spider sense. Peter Tingle.
Okay, the Peter Tingle. Okay.
Well, I mean, you know, I think they knew they weren't in their own world because Andrew Garfield's character even says like he was like he realized that he wasn't where he should be and he was trying to find Peter 1. You know, that's
okay.
Or maybe Toby said that also. I'm not. You're right. It does kind of get jumbled in my head, but you know, they're Spider-Man. They have, you know, the powers. Yeah. They can.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Almost anything.
That makes a lot of sense.
And I think it's pretty obvious too that if they got taken from their world to another world, let's say they're fighting crime in their respective world, and then poof, they disappear into the MCU. I'm like, oh, this is not right. But it is interesting how all three Peters, they can sense each other, or they can sense that someone else is in need without even ever meeting that particular Spider-Man in the first place. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Tom Holland like improv'd at the very end when he's saying his goodbye to the other Peters about, you know, hugging them and, you know, like you guys are the best and, you know, whatever. The different nods towards their own respected Spider-Man adaptations, right? How Andrew Garfield was like, you know, I'm just like really down, like I'm not that great. And then Tobey Maguire's like, you're amazing, you know, you are amazing. I'm like, oh, brilliant. You know, just those little nods, those little, you know, things like that were really cute. Can I talk about Jamie Foxx? Because that man is hilarious, you know, after he's been, you know, taken out by Tom Holland's Peter. And he's like, so we're just not gonna, you know, we're gonna overlook the fact that I'm standing here, you know, butt ass naked. This is great.
Yeah, but you know, one thing about his character that is kind of odd is that in you know, as George can attest, you watched the movie last night. He didn't know that Peter Parker was Spider-Man.
Right.
So that is kind of strange. And also, you know, there are certain characters that didn't die. Like the Lizard didn't die, and Sandman didn't die. So that whole theory that those villains all knew Peter Parker or they were killed by Peter Parker, that's not really true. But
yeah,
I mean, it's an awesome movie. They made it work regardless of that kind of weird stipulation that they kind of threw in there.
Well, that was weird to me too, because they're talking about changing their fates. Sandman and Tobey Maguire had closure. Like once Tobey Maguire that I killed your dad, your uncle, I didn't know. They were good. And then like Lizard, Garfield's character found a cure for it and saved all of New York. So I don't know what closure or what fate needed to be changed. Those two characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just curious at the fact that they were pulled from the universe where obviously they were dead, like some of them were dead, right? And they're plucked, before that happens, but it's like they know that, well, except for Doc Ock or whatever his name was. He's like, no, I'm still alive or whatever, but Jamie Foxx's character was all like, oh yeah, he's like, he did all that before I died. I don't know.
But see, even Doc Ock, like, how does Doc Ock know that Norman Osborn was the Green Goblin? I mean, he knows that he died, but he didn't know. Like, he wasn't like well known. I mean, Harry Osborn, Norman Osborn's own son, didn't know until Spider-Man 3. You know what I'm saying? So like, that part didn't make sense either.
Are you asking how did Doc Ock know that Norman Osborn was Green Goblin?
Yeah.
I think when he died in the first one, because there was a body. I mean, I think once the thing happened, probably the news, the Daily Bugle probably reported that. Norman Osborn, aka the Green Goblin.
How does Harry not know?
That's the Green Goblin.
Yeah, he doesn't know. He doesn't know his dad's the Green Goblin until Spider-Man 3. So,
because he's an idiot. I don't know. I mean,
shit, that's a good. Damn, I already knew. He never.
Oh, see, whenever Willem Dafoe died in the first one, Spider-Man brought in his body back to his mansion or whatever, and his butler cleaned the wounds.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, so Norman Osborn died, but no one really knew about the Green Goblin. As far they didn't know that he was the Green Goblin, I guess is a better way to say it. So.
Well, right. Didn't the butler say something to Harry about like his father had
Spider-Man 3? Yeah, that's Spider-Man 3. Yeah, I remember it's come back to me now. I remember him saying to Harry, there are secrets in this house that I've never told anyone.
Right.
He did say it to Harry in Spider-Man 3. So yeah, you're right.
So I mean, here's what happened. They were trying to make those 5 movies better, and so they just plucked a villain from each movie. And so while it doesn't totally make sense, I respect it because they killed it. I mean, they made them all better. So there's things we can pick at, but I mean, overall, they did a great job. So
I have a question for you guys. Brittany, I know Brittany and Jordan only saw it once, but on the part where towards the end where the multiverse is cracking and Strange trying to keep everything together, where his ropes or whatever, his magic ropes. Did y'all see like a Galactus looking figure, like horns and
a lot of things? Yeah. It did seem like it.
It looked like Galactus, and
yeah.
And I know there's a Fantastic Four a movie coming out pretty soon with MCU, but what if Galactus came through? Maybe I'm thinking too hard, but I could have sworn I saw a Galactus figure.
There are theories about that because, like you're saying, with the whole lines being broken, like that you saw like a plethora of other, characters, villains, whatever you want to call them. It could be just a teaser. It could just be filler. I don't know. Also,
I'll say this: Spider-Man: No Way Home, directed by John Watts. Fantastic Four will be directed by John Watts.
That might have been an Easter egg then. Okay. Because I caught it. I was like, that looks like Galactus' head because he has that weird horns that come out. And it looked like his head.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, I did very much enjoy the movie. Like I said, it had its moments of comedic timing, the seriousness. Also the kids. I say kids because they're all supposed to be like 17, 18-ish. Them being kids, being silly and like laughing at, Doc Ock's, name, Octavius, whatever his name is.
Otto Octavius.
Otto Octavius. See, I'm not a Spider-Man fan. Clearly.
Yeah,
okay.
It's okay.
But the fact that like, because that makes me think about an episode of The Big Bang Theory where Raj, his character, is questioning about why are a lot of Stan Lee's characters have alliteration. Peter Parker, Bruce Banner, so on and so on. And they were going to a comic book signing with Stan Lee, and Raj asks him the question, and everyone else gets a signature saying, to my good friend, Leonard, Excelsior. And Raj is like, to Raj, Stan Lee. That's it.
Right.
Because he asked a stupid question. Sorry, I digress. But anyway, like I said, overall, great movie. Definitely gonna have to go see it again now that kids are back in school.
Yeah,
might have to take some time off work to go see it when no one else is there.
that's the best thing to do. So before we leave this, we're about to get to the Amazing Spider-Man because George watched this last night, and I want to ask him all about it. But last question I have about No Way Home is when I was watching the movie, whenever Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man got stabbed, initially I thought, oh my God, they're going to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And then I mean, obviously I'm glad they did. But then after I saw it the second time, I was like, would that have been a better move? What do y'all think about that? Like, had he killed Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, what do y'all think about that? Add that to the movie. Do you think that makes the movie better? Do you think it makes it worse? Just, I want y'all's thoughts. Go for it, George.
I think that would have been fucking stupid. Like to have him die in a different universe, to come over here, try and save the day and all this shit. He's happy with Mary Jane, has his own fucking life, and comes and dies for nothing.
Okay, fair. Okay.
I don't know. I think that would have been like, I thought he was gonna die. I was like, fuck, man, come on. I was like, the one guy that would die would be him. I was like, he's already old, living his life. But no, I'm glad it ended the way it did, because I think I would have been very upset if Tobey Maguire died. And not the villains, because that's what pissed me off. Like, fuck all them. They all could have died.
Frank, what do you think about? Do you agree with George? Or what do you think about it?
I absolutely agree with George. You already killed off Aunt May. How many characters does need to kill off? And like, it's like you made your point. You killed Aunt May. You gave Tom Holland's Peter Parker purpose of like finding his inner self or being a superhero. That's enough. No more killing from one villain. And like again, like George said, like it wouldn't be fair to kill this man off in a whole different universe and nobody in his own universe knows what happened to Peter Parker or AKA Spider-Man. So
he just disappeared, right? Yeah.
That's
yeah,
fair.
I think it would have been a really bad move. It definitely would have shifted focus of Tom Holland's Peter Parker, because I mean, this is his movie. So you have, the Tobey Maguire come into the universe and then he dies. It's like, what? Yeah, I agree with George and Frank for all the above reasons. And
I've just been doing a lot of thinking about this. I love this movie. I love all this stuff. I think it's so well done. I was just like thinking, would that be more interesting? Like let's say like if Tobey Maguire had no interest in going forward, which who knows if he will or not, right? But if you killed him, it would have definitely would have put okay, he's done, and maybe it opened up a room for Andrew Garfield. But
he is the oldest actor to portray Spider-Man. I mean, he's 45 years old.
Right, he's
not that old. It's just super repetitive too, because I may die by the glider, and to kill a Spider-Man by the glider again, the same glider that it would have been too repetitive for me.
That's true. Okay, final thoughts on Spider-Man No Way Home. My last thing I want to say is there's tons of Easter eggs. There's tons of things. One of my favorite ones, and it's not really an Easter egg, but when Flash Thompson's talking about his book, he's promoting his book called Flashpoint. I love the fact that he called it Flashpoint, because Flashpoint is a famous DC storyline involving the Flash, which is coming to movie screens in November, where we're going to have multiple Batman, like we had multiple Spider-Man in this movie. It's a multiversal movie. I love how Marvel is like poking DC and saying, look, we beat y'all to it. Y'all can't do it anyway. Good luck. And by the way, we're just going to take your title and make it a joke title of a book of a character that's kind of a joke anyway. I love that. That is so good, because I can't wait for the Flash, but we know it's going to be a disaster. I mean, maybe it'll be good. Michael Keaton's come back. I can't wait to see Michael Keaton again, but it's crazy. What do y'all think about that? What are y'all's final thoughts on Spider-Man No Way Home?
Well, what's crazy about that is that the Flashpoint storyline is like the original multiverse storyline of all Marvel comics, of all comics in general. So for Marvel to do it, beat them to the punch, and kind of kick their ass in their own multiverse storyboard, I'm praying just for some type of competitiveness. I'm hoping DC has a hold my beer moment. Let me show how it's done. I'm hoping that happens because the comic book, the animated cartoon, Flashpoint.
Yeah, it's good.
It doesn't. Would you agree? It was extraordinary. It was absolutely extraordinary. So, and DC's horrible making movies. I mean, if DC just copy the anime series, just bring it to life. Copy from script to script, line by line. You can't fuck it up at that point. You can't fuck it up. It was a great anime.
I agree. I love to poke DC. I love DC too. I just love that stuff. I love that stuff. Like references to stuff. There's all kinds of stuff in this movie. Did y'all have any favorite Easter eggs as we're kind of getting ready to close out Spider-Man No Helm?
It was very brief. But at one point, either when Peter was like swinging through New York City or running, I don't know, I can't remember precisely. It was like a corner, and there's like a newsstand of magazines or periodicals or what have you, and on the cover of one of these magazines is the girl from Homecoming, the daughter of Michael Keaton,
Liz,
Liz, whatever her name was, and she's on the cover basically saying, you know, how Peter Parker, you know, is a liar and all this stuff. I thought that was kind of funny. Like again, it's a very fast, like super fast scene that you really wouldn't catch it otherwise. I'm sure there were other Easter eggs that I just can't think off the top of my head because not a big Spider-Man fan. Although I did enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
So for me, it wasn't an Easter egg, but it's after watching these Andrew Garfield movies and seeing the redemption that they gave him, it was like really, really satisfying. Like after watching that movie, like today, I just finished it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because he went through a lot of stuff, like Gwen Stacy's dad dying in the first movie, Gwen Stacy dying in the second movie. He made a promise to her, and she still ended up dying. It's so fucked up.
What did you think about her death scene?
It was so like damn, like I knew she was gonna die, but they hinted it towards like in her speech and everything that she was gonna die from the beginning. Like ever since the dad said like stay away from her. Like you already kind of knew it was gonna happen. Even if I hadn't seen these movies before, like you would have figured that out. But the way she died is just so fucked up. Her body just like smacking, and like just the recoil from the impact is what basically killed her.
Just goes limp.
But he almost saved her. You know, like
Almost,
if you were in football, when you do instant replay, was it a catch or not a catch? You know what I'm saying? You'd watch it over and over.
I mean, technically he caught her, yeah.
Yeah, like the web caught her as her body hit the ground, her neck hit the.
Yeah, that's why him catching MJ in the new movie, like he grabs her, and it was just really satisfying, and it was so emotional. Like I'm sure if I saw that again, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So what else did you think about those movies, the Amazing Spider-Man films that came out in 2014?
The first one I think was better than the original Spider-Man for me. I
liked it a lot more. Yeah.
I liked it a lot more after watching that one because I'd never seen it before. I thought I did, but that was my first time watching it. And I think the reason I didn't watch it was because it was just so back to back with the Tobey ones. I was just so used to Tobey being Spider-Man. I was like, man, I'm not gonna watch it. It looks kind of whack. But no, it was actually better than the other one.
What do you think about the cast compared to the original movies?
The cast was okay. The Uncle Ben and the Aunt May I didn't really like. Honestly, it's Henry Garfield that carries the show, like the whole movie.
Yeah,
he carries everything. Emma Stone was great, like as Gwen Stacy, she did a great job. But other than that, it's just them two.
Yeah, I mean,
well, you know they had dated, right, George? You know that Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield were like dating throughout those movies.
Yeah, I feel like all of them do through these movies.
Basically, they have though. They have.
Yeah, but they really have. I mean, they were together for a while.
Yeah, I mean, look at Zendaya and Tom Holland. They're dating now too.
Yeah, it's so cute. So cute.
So which one of those movies did you like better, George? The Amazing Spider-Man 1 or 2? The first one.
The first one. I didn't really like the second one.
Like, was it the villains? I
think it was the villains. Jamie Foxx did a good job. The kid that played Harry Osborn, I didn't really like.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And what was it? Paul Giamatti, the dude from Billions? Terrible. terrible. Fucking, I didn't. That's the one where I saw. I was like, bro, why are you on this?
Yeah.
Oh, Paul Giamatti.
Yeah, I like those movies, but I mean, the villains are not strong. Honestly, I don't like the parent deal. Like, I mean, it's good they explain it, but like, I don't like the fact that Peter, like Ben Parker, genetically created these spiders that only could, interact with Peter to create Spider-Man. To me, that's like weird.
I thought that was fucking cool. I was like, damn, that's tight. Like, it's only through his bloodline. I was like, that's so sick. So if they wanted to continue their research, they couldn't because like it's only through his blood.
Right, but like, what if I get bit by a spider? I want to be Spider-Man. If I'm not like my dad's not some like brilliant scientist, I'm just a dude with a spider bite. You know what I mean? Like that's what it takes.
You're gonna end up like that dude on. No. John, if Justin gets bit by a spider, he's gonna end up like that dude from that commercial, the Liberty Mutual, whatever, the one that has the emu in it.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna end up going to the hospital.
Yeah, of course.
I have a question for Frank. Well, I did have a question. Wow, my memory is like getting terrible at this point.
Well, it's Doctor Strange's fault. He made a spell where you don't remember anything about Peter Parker or Spider-Man or anything. Yeah,
probably. I don't know. If I think about it, I'll.
Yeah, why you think about that? I have a couple Easter eggs I caught in the movie that I really liked.
Okay.
So when Doc Ock has Spider-Man and right on the bridge while he's trying to get his friends back in MIT. Was it MIT?
Mm-hmm.
MIT.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So when he rips the nanotech off of him and it takes over his tentacles, he says, "Listen to me," exactly the same cadence as he said it in Spider-Man 2 as while the reactor is falling on top of him. Right when he comes back good. I thought that was a good Easter egg. And then there was another Easter egg. Why Spider-Man and Mary MJ go back to school after him being outed as Spider-Man. The mural, there's a Howard Stark of all the great scientists. It's a Howard Stark mural of his face on there. I thought it was pretty cool. And then there's another one while he's like swinging. He's swinging through New York City, and then like you see a Rogers, the musical, by Captain Rogers. I thought it was kind of funny too.
Yeah, that's featured in Hawkeye.
Hawkeye's Avengers musical thing in the show.
Yeah,
I was so pissed that was a post credit on that show.
Oh my goodness!
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I love Broadway. I love musicals, but that was crazy.
I mean, it's funny that they made a musical out of that, but yeah, I didn't need to see as much of it as we did.
No.
So let's transition a little bit. We're not leaving Spider-Man completely because I want to talk about a Spider-Man character that's having a movie coming up soon. It's Morbius, but unfortunately, we have some bad news about Morbius. It's been delayed again. The movie's been pushed back. It's now going to come out on April 1st of this year, so April Fool's Day. The movie
gets pushed back again.
This movie's been delayed 6 times. That is incredible. It was filmed in 2019. It was originally scheduled for July 10th of 2020. Then it was moved to July 31st, 2020. Then, like in the heat of the pandemic, pushed to March 19th of 2021. Then October 8th of 2021. Then January 21st of this year, then January 28th of this year, now April 1st.
Wow.
And that's a lot of delays. But so here's one of the rumors why it might be delayed is that they might be working on a post-credit or end-credit scene that features Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man.
That'd be cool.
See, I'm confused now. I am too.
Yeah.
Vulture is in the credits of Morbius, and he's in the universe.
But Oscorp is in the movie also. They show the Oscorp building in the trailer for Morbius, and which it's the Oscorp font from The Amazing Spider-Man. But they show the Daily Bugle, which is the font from Tobey Maguire's universe, and then you have Michael Keaton's Vulture from Tom Holland. So maybe we're not done seeing these guys together again. Like I said, endless possibilities for Spider-Man. What do y'all want to see in the Morbius movie?
I just want to say a good movie. That's all I want to see. Is just a good movie that makes sense, has continuity. I feel like it's giving me DC vibes of just no continuity. It's all over the place. Like Jared Leto looks great. Like the way he put on, and he looks like an official hero. I just hope that it stays on track as far as the quality of Marvel movies that's come out the last like year and a half.
Yeah.
Frank took the words right out of my mouth because I just want to see a good movie. Like the Venom ones have been great so far. The second one was okay. I prefer the first one, but if they can get something going, like movie be like their own thing and be good and slowly tie into everything else, that's all they need.
I think the trailer looks good. What have y'all seen the trailer? What do y'all think about the trailer?
It looks cool.
Yeah, the new trailer that came out with Spider-Man, the new trailer that came out a couple weeks ago looks great. It looks wonderful, and I like because like in the comic books, he's just a vampire. Like he can't transform back to human form and vampire form. So like I like that element, how he can be a hybrid, going back between the vampire form and human form.
I have no expectations. I love Jared Leto, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I literally have no expectations.
So well, I think the last thing I'll say about it is when I saw Spider-Man No Way Home, they showed the trailer for both Morbius and for the Batman. And now this is not the most recent Batman trailer, but this is the older one. And I had a hot take where I was like, you know what, Morbius looks better than the Batman. But the new Batman trailer, the Bat and the Cat, looks really good. So I think the Batman will be better than Morbius, but I think Morbius looks pretty good. And if they're adding Andrew Garfield, maybe that's what I want. I want more of this stuff. Like, let's keep this going. So anyway, okay, so we're moving on to our next topic. Final topic of the day. Let's toss the coin. We're talking about season 2 of The Witcher, the Henry Cavill-led Netflix show. And I'm going to be honest, I binged most of it yesterday, and it was not time well spent in my mind. I'll let I like the show fine, but it's just fine. You know, it's not like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You and George, y'all have watched this. Y'all take it from here. What did y'all think about this season, Witcher?
So if whoever does watch this, aside from us and whoever's watching this, of course, the first season was just really confusing, right? You have multiple timelines going on, or being told simultaneously, but they're really not happening simultaneously, right? It's like happening from the past.
I hated that.
Yeah, it was super confusing. Once they got to episode 3, it started kind of making a little bit more sense. But anyway, this season, thankfully, was not jumping around in terms of timelines. It did kind of stay straight, which was great. But there's still so much unknown that it still makes it to be difficult to follow. Exactly. I mean, in terms of like characters, and then like this lore of this sorceress or somebody that was captured by the first Witchers and living in a hut. I mean, like all this crap was just like, what? What I will say is that I'm probably saying this prematurely, but it's fine. Unlike Game of Thrones, which many will say that The Witcher is a poor man's version of Game of Thrones. That's fine.
I will say that.
He will say.
I think I told you this before. The only comparison with Game of Thrones and The Witcher is that human beings worked on both of them. That's it. That's where the comparison ends. It's like, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But I want to watch this. Like all three of you guys in agreement that it's not a good show. Like I don't.
No. I don't say that. I think it's a good show.
It's an okay show.
It's an okay show, Justin.
I would not recommend it to you.
Okay. Like if you said like thumbs up or thumbs down, I'd be like thumbs trending down. I'm not into it. I'm just not.
Wow. Okay.
It's right here, right in the middle.
Yeah, but unlike Game of Thrones, the showrunners cannot fuck up this whole storyline because, like Game of Thrones, it is based on books. These books are finished, okay? So showrunners, they've got the materials, they know what to do with it. Yes, they can add their own little flair to it, fine, but they can't fuck it up like Game of Thrones did with the final season.
They can fuck it up. You can fuck up anything. Like there's a script, there's books, you can fuck it up. Don't give these people credence. They don't challenge these motherfuckers, man. They will fuck it up.
Well, okay, fine. However, D&D are not involved in this show, so the likelihood of it being fucked up is less and less. So, but no, I mean, I do enjoy the show. Of course, I enjoy looking at Henry Cavill. But I mean, it's a hard storyline to follow. Like I said, there's just a lot of lore, even within their own, universe that they don't fully understand. They're trying to figure out, like, Ciri, who's this, blonde girl, she's got some sort of powers. She like awakens these creatures from other spheres, which is kind of like the multiverse, if you will, in equivalence. And it's just confusing, like George said.
That was too fucking confusing.
The thing is everyone has like magical powers, and so that means no one's special. You know what I mean? Everyone can like wave
except the bard. Except
for the guy that sings.
Yeah.
He might be my favorite character, honestly. No, I like Henry Cavill's character, but like, I don't know. There's so many characters. There's so many witches and magical people, and it's like there's only 3 characters that really matter, and like, I just kind of want to see what happens to them, So.
Drew is trying to play to your likes, Frank, saying that there are hot wizard women scantily dressed.
Yeah, but you know what? So in every one of the descriptions of the show, it says nudity. There's not much nudity in this show.
Not this season.
Like
not this season.
If you're going to promote that, then show that. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a moment in this season, I don't remember what episode it was. I was in my malaise of watching 5 episodes yesterday, where a bunch of them get into a pool together, and and they don't show anything. And it's like, what are you doing, Netflix? This is like gold, and you're just like passing it up.
But, yeah.
I gotta be real, honestly. I was like, hey, throw me a bone here. Come on.
God. Oh boy. Anyway, apparently Drew agrees with that as well. He's a true dad. So.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, there's way less nudity in this season compared to first season. First season, it was like, but even then, it was nowhere near as much nudity as it was in Game of Thrones. But yeah, the story is still developing. Of course, it's confusing. And yeah, I mean, I have questions. I have questions about the ending with the white flame, Amir. He claims that Cirilla is his daughter. And I'm like, wait a minute. I thought Dooney was her father. Or is this like, I could really, delve into this. I don't know.
Who the hell is Dooney?
Dooney was the hedgehog dude from the first season when her mother was about to be married off.
But what, didn't they cure him? Like he became.
Yeah, he got cured. He got cured. Yes, but my question is this still the same person, or is the white flame / Amir just someone who I don't know, immaculately conceived Ciri into this woman and has claim on her, or is he just a bad person who claims that this girl is really his and he just wants to use her for whatever purposes? You know what I'm saying? Like how true is it that she's his daughter? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But yeah. Justin, you look like you're burning to say something.
No, I want to jump in there and say cure that ass, from Spider-Man, because they cured that ass in this show too. But they just didn't show that ass. That's the problem. Like, if you're going to cure it, show it. But no, honestly, the guy who was the White Flame, which I don't even really know what the White Flame is, but they mentioned him several times. I didn't know that the father was going to be the White Flame, but I knew the father was still alive. Because like they kept showing.
But that's the other question: is he still alive?
Well, he looks like I don't know. Maybe it's
no. Hear me out. But was Dooney ever really Cirilla's father? Period.
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know.
I thought it was the same dude. Honestly, I thought that was the same.
I know.
guy.
I get that.
Yeah, I thought it was the same person.
So Drew, to answer your question, I don't think any one of us have read the books. I have like the first 2 books, but I haven't started to read them. I need to read the prequel, which is, I think it's called The Last Wish. Haven't read it yet. I have it on Audible, but I'm listening to Harry Potter right now, and I'd rather listen to that than The Witcher right now.
I've never read a book. Not only these books. I haven't read a book, period. Like not a single one. So
that explains.
I haven't put The Witcher video game.
It explains a lot, really. Yeah, just play the video game. There you go. You can do that. No, but like I have a lot of questions, and I'm sure the books, of course, are going to reveal everything. It's just I haven't gotten to that point yet.
Yeah,
I don't care enough to ask questions, so not about this show. Okay. I've been watching other shows.
But you flew through it pretty fast, right? Like you watched it
in like a day.
Yeah,
that's a lot. That's 8 episodes.
Yeah, I was confused the whole time, so I don't really care. I just left it on in the background.
The monsters that were created were interesting, to say the least.
That's the thing. The fights and all that stuff, the effects are all great.
Yeah,
awesome. The story, don't really care.
Yeah. Although I thought it was kind of fucked up that the elven woman who gave birth to the first pureblood elf and killed all those babies. I'm like, okay, we're just gonna invoke the plague, like from crazy. Moses' time and kill all the firstborns. Like, what the hell?
Insane.
Wow.
What did they do to you?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, do people just hate the elves because they have 20 years? Like, is that seriously the whole reason? I don't understand.
They could do magic, right? I think they just looked at them as like weird people, like creatures. I don't fucking know.
Well, okay, related to how people, I guess you could say, view Native Americans, the elves inhabited the land, and then mankind came and took over the land and learned magic, and then tried to cast them out.
I think this show could be better, though. I think if they organize the characters a little, or like maybe cut down on some of them, like some of the magic people, because it's like, for example, that guy, I think his name is Cahir, right? Is that it's Cahir? That's the name.
I don't know the name of any of the characters.
Well, I know obviously Geralt, Cirilla, which they call her Ciri.
That's it.
And then Yennefer. Yeah,
that's it.
Right, but like, there's that guy. There's the blonde head guy. He's with Fragilla, the other magical lady.
Oh, Fragilla, yeah. The other mage.
Like, I don't know what any of these people are. Like, they're like, because almost all of them are they're like half elf or something,
what confused me is like, I don't know who they serve. Like, that confused the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Like the whole mages and all, like, who the fuck do they serve?
Yeah.
And why do they want to kill Ciri?
Right.
Are they the ones that had attacked her in last season? Because I that confused the hell out of me. Like, and then now there's like a whole ring of people that we never fucking knew. Right. Like all these other lords and shit, and they want to kill her too.
Right. It's like, is everyone on the same team? I can't tell.
I don't know. I don't
get
it.
Like, first of all, the regions, they talk about Sintra, Nilfgaard, Sodden, all these like kingdoms or what have you. Like, I don't know where any of these places are, because it doesn't sound like anyone is a fan of Nilfgaard and wanting to be a part of Nilfgaard. And that guy that you're talking about,
right?
No.
See, I don't get it. I don't know.
The elves are their own thing. They've been cast out, but they're trying to come back anyway. Nilfgaard is the guy that Justin was talking about. I think he's also referred to as the Black Knight. He's the one that tried to initially kidnap Siri in season 1, and he got taken hostage, and he serves the White Flame. He's the one that partners up with Fringilla, right? They serve the White Flame, so they have their purpose in whatever it is that they do. Then the Brotherhood, I guess, where all the mages come from and are taught, they have their own agenda. And then you've got fucking Yennefer, who was gonna try to sacrifice Cirilla to get her own magic back because she's a terrible person in that fashion. Then you have, Vesemir, who is another Witcher who was trying to use Cirilla's blood to, make new whatever in order to make more Witchers. So it's like everyone's got their own agenda. Cirilla apparently is like some sort of powerful individual. She doesn't even know her own worth. She's trying to figure out her way. She's like, I don't know, supposed to be 12, 13, 14 in this show. I don't know. She's young, impressionable, obviously. And then you've got the woman, I think Drew said it earlier. I think they call it the Deathless Mother, the woman that possessed Cirilla in the end. She's been released. She's now with those riders of skeletal horses. I don't know who the fuck they are either. The Wild Hunt. I know that's the reference. The Wild Hunt. They want to have Cirilla for some reason. Don't know.
Yeah, like she's like the weapon to end all wars is that they refer to her as, but I don't. Yeah. I just wonder like what the plan is for how many seasons they're going to do, because usually Netflix, they don't do more than like 5. So I wonder, are they going to get it figured out pretty soon, or?
I don't know. But what I will say is wherever they film on location, it's beautiful. It looks so cool. Like a lot of these like outdoor places that they go to, unless it's all CGI and I'm not aware of it. Either way, it looks beautiful.
Yeah. It's probably a soundstage in Atlanta or something, but
probably. Poor Frank. Frank's been like listening to us kind of, ramble on about The Witcher, and he's just like, I'm good.
See, Frank, I thought you watched this show last year.
No, I did not.
Okay.
I talked about watching it. I just kept forgetting about it because I was so behind on other shows.
Priorities. It's fine. It's fine.
Well, what else have y'all been watching before we wrap up here?
George and I finished Yellowstone season 4 last week.
My parents just started watching that.
Have you finished it, George?
Yeah, I finished it before you. I texted you.
Started Succession season 2 last week as well. So I need to finish. I need to catch up season 3. I know you
season
and
3 was great.
Justin are both done.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, it's pretty freaking awesome. Macaulay Culkin's brother's awesome.
Yeah.
Roman is, man. That's
hilarious. Oh, just wait, bro. This season is fucking funny, bro.
For real.
That's probably one of the funniest scenes on TV that I've seen in a long time. I think it was like season 3, like episode like 8.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know what scene I'm talking about, because
whatever. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I was trying with my mom, and my mom's taking too long to catch up, so I'm going. Yeah. She's dragging me down, so I'm going.
Good. This season was amazing.
I'm on episode 10 of Ted Lasso. Did you watch Ted Lasso, George?
Yeah, I watched it all.
Episode 9 was weird, man. With the assistant coach, that
whole
God.
Oh yeah.
That's the worst. That's the worst hour of television I think I've ever seen.
Like, what was the point of that? What was the point of that episode?
He was so nice to him. That's it. But whatever. Have y'all finished that show yet? You did, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm on episode 10 now. I'm about 15 minutes in. I'm at the part where the African billionaire is trying to purchase Sam's contract.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, they'll kind of explain it more towards the end, Frank. Basically, they're just trying to drive a rivalry between them and stuff like that, which I guess I don't understand why. Ted was always the nicest to fucking this guy. Like, he wouldn't have shit if it wasn't for him.
Yeah, but George, he's talking about the other assistant. He's talking about Coach Beard.
Yeah, Coach Beard.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the other guy.
No.
Not me, Coach Beard.
Yeah, the Coach Beard episode is awful.
I didn't understand it.
I think it was just like a filler thing because he didn't get anything like any information about him at all.
No, but it was like a dream, but then it wasn't.
Yeah, it got so bad. I was fast forwarding through parts of the episode 9 because I was trying to figure out what the fuck the point was to this episode. I didn't. It was tell us was like 40 minutes, 45 minutes. It felt like an hour and a half.
Yeah,
it was so long and boring.
I think that was definitely like a filler episode, just trying to give us a backstory about Coach, but even though we didn't learn shit from it,
I didn't know anything from it. I don't know anything. Coach Beard is probably the most obscure character on the show because I don't know.
And that's why I like it. Like, just leave him like that. I don't want a backstory on him.
Exactly.
He's there for comic relief.
Yeah, and then I ain't gonna lie. Season 2, there's some tearjerker moments, man. Like,
oh yeah, it's emotional.
Yeah, when you find out about Ted Lasso's dad, and it gets pretty rough. I was Jason Sudeikis. I see why I won an Emmy or Golden Globes last year. Jason Sudeikis is a fucking beast on the show. Like it was an SNL sketch character, and like he's created this whole world surrounding this character, and the supporting cast is even great. Like Goldstein, who plays oh my god, what's the guy that curses all the time?
Who?
God, what's his name?
Roy.
Yes.
Kent. Yeah.
Roy Kent. Yeah. He's my favorite character on the show. Period. Like he kills it, man. Yeah. So yeah, I love it. But that's all I've been watching.
Have any of y'all started the Book of Boba Fett?
Yes.
I like it. It's not bad. I like it more than Mandalorian.
I've only watched the first episode. I know the second episode came out yesterday, Wednesday, or I haven't seen it yet because I think John wants to watch it too. I wasn't impressed, honestly. But then again, I also was not entirely impressed with Mandalorian, so I don't have
that show was so slow to me. The first season, God,
it is. It's extremely slow.
The thing about that show that pisses me off is like, oh, I'll do this if you go do this for me. Like that's the plot of the entire fucking show. Like for 3 seasons.
That's
many seasons
exactly right.
It's just the barter system. It's Star Wars explains the barter system. That's all it is.
Basically, but in this show, it's different because like you'll go through his real life. Like he takes over Jabba the Hutt's position, and every time he goes into the chamber, you see his flashbacks from after he died from what movie?
Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi.
From that movie. Yeah. So that's what I like, that he just goes back and they're showing you like how he got to I guess the episode of The Mandalorian where he recovers his gear.
I will say, George.
So he's dead already? This is a flashback of his life?
No. He died. He died, but he never actually died. You're seeing what happened to him post him dying. And
we thought he was dead, supposedly.
Yeah.
But he didn't really die.
It's okay, Frank. You don't have to worry about it, honey. It's fine. You're fine.
You know what?
You're
Star,
okay.
Look, Star Wars is a beautiful thing that you guys enjoy. I'm gonna let you guys have it. I want you guys to embrace it. I will be on the outside looking in. Have at it.
He's like, he's like from a distance.
And I tried my best. I gave Mandalorian all my effort. By episode 4, I was like, this will be an action adventure. None of action for me, and I can't do the Keanu Reeves force. I can't do it, bro. I can't do it. If Keanu Reeves vibes, I need Matrix, John Wick type action. I can't do the 3
Put a pin in that. Put a pin in that because I do want to talk about the Matrix really quickly after what I'm going to say to George. On the note of the flashbacks that we're seeing with Boba Fett, I do appreciate how they're actually explaining how he survived, unlike the crap that we got in Rise of Skywalker about the Palpatine just having, never dying, and he fathered a child and raised his granddaughter. Like, what the fuck? Okay. Like, no.
I think that's why I like it right now, because it makes sense.
And that's fine. It's not doing it for me. Maybe it'll be a slow burn.
Episode 2 is better than the first one. So
okay. maybe I was gonna say because like when we'll probably do a review on Hawkeye in the coming days. The first episode for Hawkeye was just like
I don't
no.
want to.
I didn't like that series. I thought that show was
I
terrible.
really tried watching it, and I don't give a fuck about Kate Bishop. I don't really care.
I liked
So
her.
much-
You
I liked her
that?
too.
I don't.
No.
The only thing I
Justin,
care
maybe
about
you
in
and
the
I are
show-
going to be the ones doing the review.
Probably, because the only thing I care about in the show was Kingpin coming out from Daredevil.
That's
it. That is it.
Dude,
Here's the question:
Dude.
did he die at the end?
He didn't die.
No, he didn't die.
There's no way.
Dude,
There's no way.
Vincent D'Onofrio, I didn't even realize it was him. Did not realize that was him. So different than what I remember seeing him in Jurassic. What is it? That Jurassic World or whatever that has Chris Pratt, and then of course Full Metal Jacket.
Mhm.
Did not even recognize that was him. I'm
Yeah.
like, what the hell? Is he like? Is
Great
he in a
actor.
fat suit? Is he in a big body suit, or is that just him?
I feel like he's kind of built that.
Daredevil.
What? See, I've never seen the Daredevil series. That's what I'm
Oh, yeah,
asking. Like, is
he's a
that
big
just
part of that.
him, or is he wearing like a suit? You know?
I don't know, but he's the main villain in all 3 seasons of Daredevil.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I don't know. Like, I get it. If Kate Bishop's gonna be part of the Young Avengers, cool. I don't want her anywhere near the major Avengers team. Like, she's too. She's just too. She doesn't do enough for me. I don't know. I don't know. And like the only thing about Hawkeye that I like outside of Kingpin is getting old girl back to Black Widow's sister. I like her a lot. I think she's
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Yelena. Yeah.
Yelena.
she's the best part of Hawkeye for me. Like,
She's so funny.
Yeah, she's very funny. She has personality. Like,
Very funny.
Yeah, a lot of personality.
Frank, did you know that her brother was in Game of Thrones?
Florence.
Her brother was the prince of or where are the sand snakes from? Dorne. He was betrothed to Marcella.
Tristane. They look nothing alike. That's her brother.
That's her brother.
Did not know that.
Look it up. I was floored when I found that out. I'm like,
oh wow,
dude, are they from the same parents or?
Yeah,
I mean,
he looks like he could be Spanish.
Exactly. I was so like, I was like, but no, they're related. I mean, they're. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if they're half siblings, full siblings, what, but they're related.
Wow. Yeah.
I know.
I did not know that. That's a great digital effect. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I mean, Florence Pugh she's great. Like I watched Black Widow a couple weeks ago again, and like she's the best part of that movie. I can't wait to see her in other projects.
Her calling out Natasha about the superhero landing. You know, why do you do this? And the hair and
that part, and the part where she's like she's talking about oh my god, what was she? I just had it in my mind. It escaped me.
See, it's happening to everyone today. It's what happens when you get old, people.
Oh my god! If it comes back to me, I'll bring it up.
There you go. Okay.
No, from Yelena in Hawkeye, I love the scene where she's talking about the macaroni and cheese, like the macaroni and whatever. Yeah. Like I want macaroni so bad. After that, I'm like, I want some of that. I don't know what's going on, but like, it wasn't.
That's what it was when she's talking to her fake dad about she doesn't have a uterus anymore, and like they just take everything out. They take everything out. Like it's like what? That was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, she's great. She's great.
She's great. So Justin, like I said, you and I will probably do Hawkeye.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I think just to let everybody know, like, I think I'd like to kind of catch up on what we missed, and with just like single episodes on What If, Hawkeye, Shang-Chi, and the Eternals. Eternals comes out next Friday on Disney Plus. Or wait, I'm sorry. It comes out January 12th, whatever day January 12th is.
It's a Wednesday.
Next Wednesday on Disney Plus. So we're gonna try to do reviews for all 4 of those things separately, kind of little short, quick episodes, because I think we all have diverging tastes or likes about these shows. Like I wasn't a big fan of Shang-Chi. I think everyone else was. I don't know. I think we all have different views on this stuff. So
You just don't like magic, you muggle.
I don't like. Yeah, that's a callback to the Harry Potter episode. I don't like just CGI battle stuff. CGI animals, I'm out on. So I don't like them.
What dragons on Game of Thrones? You like
Right?
No,
Right?
those were done well. No, I'm talking about the dragons in Shang-Chi. Like that just the last hour of that movie just took me out of the movie because I was really enjoying it until that happened. I was just like, I don't want to watch like all these like weird animals that were like, I don't know, these like fake things that are not real.
Are you dragging prejudice? Like
I think so. I think so. I think
Viserion and Rhaegar and what's the other one? Drogon. Like you had no issue with them.
no issue with them. No, they were special.
No. Yeah. Especially during the Battle of Winterfell when we couldn't tell who was who and we're rooting for the wrong dragon to win. I mean, shit.
That was high drama right there. That was awesome. Now the last thing I'll say is I'm going to start the Book of Boba Fett today, and I'm also going to start Cobra Kai season 4, which The Witcher, binging The Witcher kept me from watching Cobra Kai season 4, and that is the worst crime that The Witcher's ever committed. So I will. Does anybody else watch Cobra Kai on this show?
My parents do.
Oh, Cobra
My
Kai's
parents
awesome.
do.
Cobra
Yeah.
Kai's
My parents have binge watched Cobra Kai.
Okay.
And Frank, they've also started Yellowstone. Mom was very upset when she couldn't get to the other seasons because it's on Paramount. She's like, you have to pay for it. I'm like,
No. Let me explain. So my mom is a big fan of Yellowstone too. But here's the thing about Yellowstone that's really interesting. So Yellowstone is a Paramount Network original program, right? But Paramount had an agreement with Peacock that was predated Paramount Plus. So Paramount Network's biggest show, Yellowstone, by far their biggest show, is not even on their streaming service because they're owned by Peacock. Now, how crazy is that? So that's why Yellowstone has a prequel that came out recently that is owned.
1883.
I watched the first episode, Frank. It wasn't my thing.
Wasn't your thing?
Mm-hmm. But Frank, I'm excited for that 4/6. That shit's gonna be fire, bro.
Dude, I didn't even know Jim was gonna spin off. So is he gonna be the main character in that spinoff?
I don't know. I'm assuming he's gonna be on the show, but it's gonna take place on that ranch. So I don't know. I'm excited.
My mom is hooked in it too. My mom before my mom started watching Yellowstone, she's like, "What's it about?" I was like, "Mom, to be honest, Yellowstone makes you want to buy a ranch and fight white people over it. That's what it makes you. That's what it's. There's so many things going on. Like there's a lot of racial, cultural stuff going on. The cowboy western, modern day western shit. It's a cowboy western, but modern day wise. And Kevin Costner, man, he just reminds you. He just reminds everybody that I'm that dude. Like
So on that note, Frank, I will actually agree with you about that because I was over at my neighbor's house because our dogs were having a play date, and Jackie had I couldn't even tell you what episode it was, but I watched an episode of Yellowstone, and I'm like, these people are vicious. Like the daughter.
Look at George.
Y'all see me?
There we go. Okay. So this particular episode, and you guys can probably tell me what season episode it is Kevin Costner's character. I don't know any of their names, right? Kevin Costner's character is going to see his son, who was in the Hunger Games, in the first Hunger Games, who is the Attorney General of the state or something like that.
Yes, now, yeah.
And Kevin Costner goes to see him or whatever, and I guess the son thinks oh, he's here to back me up as I'm gonna do my political thing, and Kevin Costner's like, no, I'm here to fuck shit up. And then the daughter goes up to the son, and she's like, this is just the first step, or this is, I don't know. She says something harsh, and I was just
satisfying.
And then my neighbor had to break it down for me, the history behind the two, and just all this, drama. And I'm like, I need to watch this show.
From the beginning, it's the things that Jamie does, and because what is it, George? Like 3 seasons. You don't know why Beth hates Jamie so much.
Yeah,
and like
she explained to me why. So I do know the reason why.
Oh,
but I like to see it for myself.
Yes, you have to. like they it's perfectly casted. Like the woman who plays Beth. If I had a daughter, I'll not as cruel, but like I want a Beth adjacent. Like she's gangster as fuck. She's all about her dad and protecting her dad's legacy and the ranch. Like it's pretty dope. Like if Succession's 1A for me, Yellowstone's 1B. They're like racing each other right now. That's my favorite show on TV right now.
This is a country Succession, bro.
It is. It really is. It really is.
I don't know. So yeah, my parents are all into Yellowstone. I'm probably eventually going to start Yellowstone. Now that I'm done with school, like I've got free time to do things, but I'm not really like a TV show watcher kind of person unless
I love TV.
Unless it's like a series that I started like way time ago and then I'm involved. So it's going to probably take some time, but I'll get there. Where did Frank go?
You can step away for a second. Let's close it out. You want to talk about the Matrix?
Go put a Yellowstone t-shirt on.
Right. I haven't watched the Matrix, but Brittany, you mentioned you want to talk about the Matrix Resurrection. So
okay. Full transparency disclaimer. I didn't see the first Matrix movie until spring break of 2021.
Wow.
And obviously, I mean, I was around when the movie, first premiered. We had it on VHS, back in the day. It was like this cult revered, following, if you will. And yeah, so I didn't see the first movie until, spring break of last year. But we went over to our friend's house not that long ago. I think it was the day that the fourth movie came out, and we're watching it. And I'm sitting there, I have a drink in my hand, and I'm like, okay, I have questions because I literally have no idea what's going on. Got the explanation. Don't know if I fully follow it, but for those of you who have seen The Matrix, do you follow it? Was the fourth installment, everything that you hoped it would be? Or was it a flop? Like, I'd like to know, because I know it was a big deal when it was announced that Keanu Reeves was returning as Neo. And then, of course, John Wick Chapter 4 is going to come out in the foreseeable future, I hope. So, yeah. Have you guys seen Matrix 4?
Nope.
No.
I have not. No.
Okay. I'm pretty sure Frank, my friend, have you seen Matrix 4?
I have.
Okay. So my question, because I didn't see the first movie until spring break of last year. I did see this movie. I had a lot of questions. Did it live up to the potential?
No.
Did it? Okay.
No.
Okay. That's what I wanted to know. Okay.
The majority. Have I seen it, Justin, George?
No.
It's on HBO Go. HBO Max. HBO Max.
Yeah.
Probably won't watch it.
The majority of the movie is just like, it's just Neo trying to get back to Trinity. That's all it is. Like long story short, they Trinity dies in Revolution, the third one, and what's Doogie Howse's character? He with the Matrix.
Neil Patrick Harris.
What was his name?
Neil Patrick Harris. He goes fucking Doogie Howser.
Patrick, 3 first names. Okay, so he finds a way.
Neil Patrick Ewing. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so he finds a way to like reconstruct the Matrix within, to where he brings back Neo and Trinity and like rebuilds them in these pods, and he erases both their memory. And so like they're in this world, and Neo, who's Mr. Anderson, he keeps having flashbacks because he's a video game developer, and the game's called The Matrix. So they literally he literally has these callbacks in his head, like he doesn't know whether it's real or fake. So once he finds out that the Matrix is fake and he got brought back, the whole 3-hour fucking movie he's trying to get back to Trinity. That's all it is. Like it wasn't about defeating the Matrix. It was just about him finding Trinity again. Yeah. Like, come on, bro. This is what I come up with for Matrix 4. Like, really?
So Frank, you probably missed it because you had stepped away. I was telling the guys that we went over to our friend's house to watch it the day it came out on HBO Max. And I had a drink in my hand and I'm like watching it. I'm like, okay, I have questions. So we have to pause the movie. I had to have someone break it down for me about the significance of the Matrix, et cetera, et cetera. The level of nerd that John exhibited that evening blew my mind. I mean, and I've known the guy for 12 going on 13 years. I've been married to him for almost 6. Never knew how much he knew about the Matrix. But I will 100% agree with you that it seemed that the movie was entirely focusing on Neo getting back to Trinity and the importance of that. I will say with the Agent Smith that's in this movie, I was floored to find out it was Jonathan Groff who played King George in Lin-Manuel Miranda's Hamilton. And he was hysterical in Hamilton. So to see him be Agent Smith in this movie, I was just like, whoa.
I was just disappointed about all the. I mean, I get it. Like this is like 60 years later from the last Matrix. Yeah. Cool. I get it. All these characters are gone or they've been rebooted or recreated.
Except Jada Pinkett Smith. She's still alive.
She's still alive. Yeah, she's like the commander now of the whatever. But it's like, yeah, I could have come up with a better script. Like I have no problem bringing back the Matrix. The way the third one ended, it was kind of open ended. You don't know if Neo lived or died or whatever. But like for that incarnation of the seventh Neo, whatever, they found closure, right?
Yeah.
So like to bring it back and to only make it a Trinity Neo movie, it was just like, come on, bro. Like,
I think I had more fun trying to like. I was calling out like, oh, that's Christina Ricci, and that's the chick that was in. She was one of the Sand Snakes, and she was in that god awful Iron Fist show. The girl with the.
Oh, that was her, the Sand Snake. That was her. Oh shit.
Yeah. I think her name was Nymeria or whatever in Game of Thrones. Anyway, she was really pretty, but she was in Iron Fist. I had more fun like figuring out who's who, and then like you said with Neil Patrick Harris being in the movie, I couldn't take him seriously because I always see him in these comedic type roles. I was just like, you're supposed to be like a therapist, you're the analyst, and anyway. So
I would have been really pissed if had I spent $20 at the movie theater to see that. It was just so long. Like,
it really was.
The first hour and a half of the movie is Neo trying to figure out if he's really Neo. That was really the first hour and a half of the movie. And the other hour and a half of him trying to get Trinity to snap out of it and like him leaving the Matrix and getting help to get back in. It's like, come on, bro. This is. I should stop watching.
Frank, you just sold me to not watch this movie.
It's worth your time. It's not good. It's not good at all. Like
don't watch it.
You did more damaging the Matrix legacy of the first three movies by bringing this fourth movie on. It had no. It's like Godfather 3. Like it wasn't needed. It wasn't needed.
Let's just hope and pray that when John Wick Chapter 4 comes out, it's going to live up to the rest of the movies.
You know what would have been really good? If Matrix 4 was John Wick waking up trying to figure out if he's Neo or if he's
John Wick. That would have been so much better.
I would have been sold on that. Because he really like John Wick. Like the long hair, the beard. Yeah. Like, he was like John Wick. Like that's what it was.
Although I think this is the most I've heard Keanu Reeves speak in a movie in quite some time.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
Originally, before the pandemic, the Matrix 4 and John Wick 4 were supposed to come out on the same day.
Mm-hmm.
It was gonna be like an unofficial Keanu Reeves holiday, but
that's crazy.
Matrix 4 came out. John Wick 4 has been pushed back. I think it's like not even until 2023. So it's still it's pushed back. So, but so I'm not a Matrix fan. My take on the Matrix is very simple. I think the Matrix was a really cool screensaver. And that's it.
My brother had the screensaver, I want to say.
Yeah,
so
it was cool. It was a cool screensaver, So anyway, long episode, but we're glad to be back. Hopefully we'll be coming back with more stuff for you very soon. Brittany, how can people find us on social media?
So we are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also subscribe to this YouTube channel, of course, because we switched to live streaming. We do enjoy it because obviously we can engage with those who are watching, answer your questions, share your comments. share your questions. That's fun. But also, we are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts, or wherever you may find podcasts to listen to on the go. So be sure to follow us there, rate us, give us 5 stars. That would help us out because we are slowly coming back in 2022. We've got some other reviews coming up. Hopefully, this is the year of Nathan returning. Let's make that happen. That'd be great to have Nathan come back on the show. Fingers crossed, y'all. Fingers crossed. But yes, so like I said, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Don't forget to use the hashtag Watchers Basement when sharing our posts. If you have questions, let us know what it is that you'd like for us to review.
Okay, thank you, Brittany. So for Brittany, for Frank, for George, I'm Justin saying we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.